In this video, we are going to review Coach page 163 to 165, questions 1 through 6. Starting with question number 1, what is the slope of a line that passes through point R and S? Point R is at -3, +1. Point S is at 2, 3. When you're given 2 points and you want to find the slope, in this case you were also given the graph. The graph is going in an upward motion. Because the line is going in an upward motion, you know that your slope is going to be positive. If you look at your answer choices, answer choice A and B are both negative slopes. Therefore, you can eliminate A and you can eliminate B. So that leaves answer choice C and D. So if we look at our change in y, so we're looking at 3 minus 1. And if we look at our change in x, 2 minus -3, and we calculate that. 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 minus -3, well, you don't want two signs, so you circle them. Two negatives make a positive, and that gives me 2 plus 3, which is 5. Therefore, for question number 1, I get a slope of 2/5, which is answer choice C as in cat. Moving on to question number 2. In question number 2, it says, what is the slope of the line that passes through JK? Again, our graph, we have a line that is going in a downward motion. J is here, K is here. J is sitting at -2, +4, and K is sitting at +2, +1. So again, looking at my line, because it's going in a downward motion, I know that my slope is going to be a negative slope. Answer choice C and D are both positive slopes, therefore I can eliminate them. That leaves me with A and B. Looking at my change in y, so I have 1 minus 4 over my change in x, 2 minus -2, and calculate. 1 minus 4 is -3. 2 minus -2, again, same two signs, I want to circle them. Two negatives make a positive, and 2 plus 2 is 4. Therefore, that gives me a slope of -3/4, which is answer choice B as in boy. Moving on to question number 3. In question number 3, it says, what is the slope of the line that passes through PQ? Well, in question number 3, we have a horizontal line that's going straight across from left to right. Anytime we have a horizontal line straight across from left to right, our slope is going to be 0. Moving on to question number 4. In question number 4, it says, Ernesto rode on a train that traveled at a constant rate. The graph compares the number of hours traveled to the number of miles traveled. If you look at the graph, you have various points that are given to you. You have 270, you have 3, 105, and you have 4, 140. You can choose any of those 2 points, and you're going to find your change in y over your change in x. Your rise over run, which is the same as your slope. So you have 105 minus 70, 3 minus 2. That's my change in y over my change in x. 105 minus 70 is 35. 3 minus 2 is 1. Therefore, that gives me a slope of 35. Now I know that there is a rate of change for 35 miles per hour. So every hour, Ernesto is going to travel 35 miles. Again, this is just changing x over changing y. Moving on to question number 5. In question number 5, it says this graph shows the number of pies produced at a bakery as a function of time. So again, we have a graph here that is going in an upward motion, so we know that our slope is positive. We have 3 points that are identified. We have 230. We also have 460. And our last point that's identified is 690. So again, you just want to choose 2 points. So I want to choose this point and this point here, 230 and 460. I want to find my change in y, so I have 60 minus 30 over my change in x, 4 minus 2. Well, 60 minus 30 is 30. 4 minus 2 is 2, and I always want to simplify. 30 divided by 2 equals 15. So that now tells me that my slope, my rate of change, is 15. Looking at our categories here, it tells us that 15 pies per hour. So that means that for every hour, 15 more pies is being made. Moving on to number 6, our last question. In question number 6, it says, what is the slope of the line that passes through the coordinates -2, -6, and -4, -5? So our 2 points here in question number 6, we have -2, -6, -4, -5. So we're going to find our change in y over our change in x. So here we have -5 minus -6. Please notice how I am not trying to get rid of those negative signs. We're always going to have a minus sign in between our two numbers. So -5 minus -6. Now I want to find my change in x, -4 minus -2. And I'm going to calculate now. -5 minus -6, I don't want to keep those two signs, so I'm going to circle them. Two negatives make a positive, so that gives me -5 plus 6 over. Here again in my denominator I have two signs, so I'll circle them. Two negatives make a positive, so I get -4 plus 2. Well, -5 plus 6 is +1. -4 plus 2 is -2. Therefore, I have found my slope, and my slope is -1/2, and that's answer choice B as in boy. Please review all 6 of these questions. If you have any questions or do not understand anything here, please see Ms. Gambrell or Ms. Kirk.